What's good, YouTube? It's your boy SlenderRevolutionX here, coming to you guys today with a deck profile that I have been super excited to share with you guys. I've been a big fan of this deck for a long time. There was just recently a card let out in Rise of the Duelist that really gave the deck a lot of power and basically just kind of brought it up to a new level, especially ever since it's got its link card. It really helped with the consistency of it, and that is Ritual Beast. I've been playing Ritual Beast since like 2012 when it came out. I've kind of always had the deck, and it's been exciting. I've put the profile up a few times, but the deck has continued to evolve and evolve throughout time. And it's got a lot of power to it. The Win the Verdant Channeler adds a lot of consistency to the deck, and that is really what it was missing. Basically, you were looking to open up Elder Cannahawk as much as possible, and you know, there's only so much of a percentage that you can get opening up those two specific cards. It was basically just like you wanted to open Elder Rampengu, Elder Cannahawk, unless you drew a field spell. There was a lot of little intricacies, but basically allowing you to search any Win monster basically in the entire deck. Win helps a lot with consistency in this deck, so I'll kind of walk you guys through that. If you guys want to see combos, I can do a separate combo video, but you guys gotta let me know in the comments section, because if you guys don't tell me, I don't see it. So without further ado, guys, let's dive right into the deck profile. Alright guys, so we'll go ahead and just start off with the monsters here. It's a pretty standard lineup of Ritual Beast cards. I can kind of explain some of my choices as we go. We'll start off with the Tamers. We got 3 Tamer Elder. Basically the card you want to open, but you don't really want to see it after turn 1, just because you want to be able to use the other Tamers to kind of special summon from cards that are already in play. 3 Winda. This card gave this deck a big boost in power when it came out. This card's really good for defensive, offensive. Like, you can crash this card into opponent's monsters and then special summon Altipelio from the extra deck, or monsters from the main deck that you need. Basically just a super strong card in the deck. A very like overpowered mechanic if it were in like any other archetype. We have 2 when special summons a Ritual Beast off from Banished. So allows you to continue plays. Basically your second best card, if you ask me, like aside from Elder. Being able to special summon from Banished. There's a lot of ways to get Banished, so this is like not only a starter, if you open up Goldstark, but it's also an extender. So it shows a lot of power. Then we run the One of Laura. Basically, you're going to search this throughout your first combo just to be able to continue comboing off. You don't really want to open that card because there's not really a lot of ways to send cards to the graveyard, except for like Win in this. So if you do open this and a Win, that's pretty good. But other than that, that's, you know, you're basically just this card's only option is to as an extender off of the search. So that's it for the Tamers. Now we're going on to the beasts themselves. We have 3 Cannahawk, 3 Rampengu. These are your 2 best, in my opinion. So you're obviously going to max out with this, like opening Elder this, opening Elder this, like both of which now that Cannahawk is at 3 are a complete full combo. So you're definitely maxing out on all of these. Then we have the 2 of the Altipelio. I originally did run 1, but running 2, like this card's super strong, and you basically want to see this card. So if you open the 1, having the other one in deck to send is pretty crucial, because it's like the way to get to full combo in this deck. So that's it for all the Ritual Beasts. Then we have our newest card, Win the Wind Channeler. This card like basically changed the way this entire deck was played. Just because it allows you to search. It allows you to not have to play cards like Desires, just because it lets you just pick out what you want from the deck, and that's actually incredible. So obviously maxing out on this card's really strong. Then we're on to hand traps. The reason I really like Ritual Beast right now is because it can play the best hand trap in the game, which is Dimension Shifter. I think this card is just absolutely incredible. It will single-handedly shut off an opponent's turn. Especially nowadays with everything being so graveyard reliant. The issue is its condition is actually super hard, and opening up past turn 1 is actually really bad, because generally you're going to have cards in the graveyard. But if you open up this going first or second on your opponent and can drop Dimension Shifter early, basically sealing their way to not be able to use the graveyard on their turn, super, super, super strong. And not only does it hurt your opponent, but in this deck it absolutely is incredible to help you out, just because everything's going to be banished. Allows you to tag out for your Ritual Beast fusions more. So obviously 3-dimensional shifters. I run 2 Phantasme, obviously not super strong right now, as much as, you know, other hand traps could be. But this does allow you to fix bricky hands in this deck, which is really, really, really crucial. And in your opponent's turn, if they're going first, you're going second, it kind of allows you to dig for that shifter, just because it's a reactive hand trap that doesn't go to the graveyard. So if they, like, say, if they get their Needle Fiber, you Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, draw into your Dimension Shifter, activate Dimension Shifter, like, that can still hinder the play, rather than this being like an effect failure or something that doesn't always have an interaction. Especially if you open up like Shift or something, like just I really like Phantasme. Plus it's a body on board, which is pretty crucial in this deck as well. It just allows you to push for more damage. And then I run the 2 Ash. Obviously Ash is super versatile right now. I think everybody should be running this. Just any interruption that you can do on your opponent's turn is super strong. And this card is no exception to that. So that's it for monsters. Onto my very short spell lineup. I still run 2 of the Brain Research Lab. This card basically just fixes really bad hands. I continue to see this card coming up. There was a point where these were desires, and I would still just open up like wonky hands of like 2 Tamers and no beasts, or like 2 beasts, no Tamers. And this card basically fixes that. Like, even if you open up like a win, like turn 1 win and like Cannonhawk win and a beast, any like or when and a beast, like any of the Tamers that isn't Elder, this makes into Elder, which is super crucial for the deck. So allows you to go off. Love it. Then my 1-up start, basically for consistency reasons. Like, you want to be able to do that and have some consistency with this deck, playing 39 cards, playing the percentages there. The 1, we're just teleport, basically bring out any of the little Tamers. This is just basically the same theory as Brain Research Lab. Like, you want to be able to go off turn 1 more often, and this card basically does that for you. And then the 1 Gold Sark. This not only is a starter if you open when, but it is an extender if you don't open when and like open full combo otherwise, just because you're putting an extra name in the banish to be able to continue to special summon future monsters. Now on to traps. We got a Ritual Beast traps, which is triple steeds, arguably like one of the best traps ever made. Non-targeting, multiple destruction, rechecks after you tag out. So arguably one of the best traps ever made. That card's insane. Then we have 2 ambush. You know, not as good as steeds in my opinion, but this card just like allows you, like, basically you set up turn 1, pass your opponent, interrupt everything that they do, and then resolve this on their end phase to special summon 2, and then you just go off and win on your turn. And then last but not least, we have the 3 impermanents. Just super broken right now. Like, impermanence, not only is it, especially in this deck, like, not only is it an interruption if you're going second, or if like you're going first, like it negates spells and traps. It does so much for the deck. Really like impermanence in here. But that's it for the main deck. It should be 40 cards, I believe. Really decently consistent. Like, extremely decent consistency, if that makes sense. Like, there's still going to be situations where you open up like odd plays, but in those situations, 9 times out of 10 you have a way to interrupt your opponent too. So like the odd plays that this deck makes, like, as long as you keep pace with your opponent, which generally this deck doesn't keep pace. This deck tends to slow your opponent's pace down to yours, and it's pretty impressive. I really like the main deck. So now we'll go into extra deck. Obviously, your boy Cannonhawk finally coming back to 3. This card sat on the ban list way too long for no reason. But now that it's at 3, it allows you to not have to conserve and protect this card as much, which was something that in years past you really had to do, because if they interrupted your first turn play, like you still wanted to be able to have this an extra to be able to go back into. Now you can kind of just you don't have to tag out as early on your opponent's turn through the combo, like just to try to protect this. Like you're not really worried about what your opponent is going to do to this card, especially because this dodges any targeting effect. Like that is one thing that people get really frustrated with Ritual Beast, is they're going to dodge any targeting effect you have, any impermanence, any kind of thing like that. Like you activate this effect, they impermanence, and you chain, and the effect resolves. Like you activate, they activate, like literally just any targeting effect. Like sure, you can ogre, and then I'm going to tag out. Like this dodges so many hand traps, which is really, really cool. The only thing it doesn't dodge is Ash, but generally in situations where it gets ashed on the first search, you just tag back into this, search again, and then proceed to go off from there. Really, really resilient to hand traps, which is why I really like the deck as well. Then we have our two Altipelio. Considering running this at 3, just because you dump this a lot with Rampengu, and you want to be able to go into this card. This is kind of like your push for damage card. Still really strong, unaffected by cards while it's attacking. Kind of conflicts with some cards in your own deck, like the Altipelio boost. Like if this has any attack boost, it's unaffected by other effects while it's attacking, so no matter what you do, it's going to go to 26. That is also true about other things, is like if this card's attack is halved, like with droplets, like it's going to go back up because it's unaffected by other card effects, even if that's a continuous effect. Really like Altipelio. And then I still run the 1 Aqua Dolphin. Basically, like if you super brick turn 1, this is what you're going to go into, because not only is it beefy defense, can't be destroyed by card effects, and you're still going to have that option to tag out. So as long as you open this with like some sort of protection or follow-up, like generally you're going to be able to resolve this on their end phase and bring back 2, and then go off on your preceding turn. So that's all the main guys, and then obviously we got the 2 ulti guy Pelio. Very rarely do you make this nowadays, because in any situation where you make this card, you can make Access Code Talker. And Access Code Talker is just absolutely incredible. Obviously still in here because it'll, with Rampengu, it allows you to send Psychics from your main deck to Grave. So still a very crucial part of the deck, and like you will see your times where you'll go into this, or you'll make this off of the window. They send it to Graveyard, and then you just get a 3,200 attack monster on board, which is actually really strong. This is like a way to get over Dragoon if they don't negate, like if they can't negate anything, if they've used whatever, like you're still going to be able to get over Dragoon, which is really crucial nowadays. So that's it for the fusion monsters. Then we go into our link monsters. Obviously 2 Communo Fackles. I've yet to see the necessity for the third one. The extra deck is kind of tight in this. There's like a couple cards that you can work with, but having a third one of these, I've been running a 2 for years and I've never needed the third. Just because a lot of times you can recycle these anyway, which is pretty cool. So Communo Fackles, obviously incredible card in the combo, does a lot for the deck. Then we have the Wind Charmer. The reason I run this is because Auroradon is a wind. In situations where your opponent leaves the Auroradon in grave, you put Wind on board, steal the Auroradon, and that's like a legitimate instant access code, which is incredible. An access code is like a game-breaking card. It just like changes, because like 9 times out of 10, if you're making this, you've already made one of these, so you're gonna have 2 pops with access code 9 times out of 10, no matter what. Plus like the 1850 attack boost, or whatever, like the 2000 attack boost. I mean, so you're gonna have multiple interruptions with that, and plus it just like wins. Like 9 times out of 10, you make access code, you're gonna have like access code plus like a Altipelio, and like what is it, 54 or 53 plus 26 to 79. Like you're damn close to just like OTKing them right there. Still run the IP Unicorn combo. It's like if you don't have a really good play going first, this is still an interruption on your opponent's turn. Just because Unicorn is really, really strong right now. Like if you Unicorn an Eldritch player, like that's, if they don't have a follow-up and you get rid of the Golden Lord, like you can really stunt their turn. Then I still run the 1 Phoenix Phoenix, just to deal with like problem back row. This is the one card that I think like you can swap out for pretty much anything that you want in this deck, just because I rarely go into this because not only does it cost the 2 monsters that usually you could go to Kimono Falcos with, but it takes up that extra deck zone, extra monster zone. So still on the fence about this, but it does deal with problem back row. Things like there could be only one, like you really have to watch out for that. It's tough to play around. It's not impossible because everything in here is different types. So it you can kind of play around it a little bit, but obviously Phoenix. And then last but not least, Access Code, just a super big blowout card. If you don't have this card, Borload's or Boral Sword, still super strong in the deck. Just because the way the deck operates, like if you go first, you set up a board, your opponent goes, you interrupt all of their plays, then it comes back to you, and then you make Boral Sword and or Access Code. So really strong. Really like Access Code. This card's actually super powerful. So if you guys like the deck profile, please give it a thumbs up. I know I'm a bit wordy sometimes, especially when I'm talking about something I'm passionate about, like this deck. I also know that I can speak very fast when I'm talking about something I'm passionate about. So if you guys did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you missed anything, because I'm a jabberjaw, and have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I always like to hear from you guys. And as always, folks, remember to subscribe to join the revolution today. This is SlenderRevolutionX signing out, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.